You've stumbled on into the Tap Takeover podcast, COVID-19 edition. We've got a fun slate of beer news for you, and we've managed to get all the guys together in our respective quarantine areas at home. Thank you guys for joining us.
Woo!
Oh yeah!
Cheers!
Cheers, guys!
Yeah, cheers.
All right, you want to go around the horn? Say what we're drinking here.
Let's go around the horn. Let's say our names in case people don't recognize our faces. This is normally a visual-free.
So we're actually putting voices to the faces
for a reason.
The short-lived video series of the Tap Takeover podcast.
This is why we do radio.
Again. It'll ride again.
And as a special guest today, we've got our live theme music was played by our musical genius, Vince Clore, our video editor, who's going to be putting all this together later. Vince, what are you drinking tonight?
I cracked open my bottle of VIP from 1840. It's a tequila sour, kettle soured sour. Yeah, this came out quite a while ago, but it's good. It's delicious. 6.7. And yeah, 1840. Love them.
That's awesome. And I'm actually since I haven't ventured out yet, I'm more afraid. I'm a wimp, so I'm going through my cellar. I got a Baltic Porter from Schlafly. I got it during a 2016 road trip, so it's super smooth, man. This thing. It's part of their cellar series, and I have one more bottle. So whenever we get to the other side, I'll share that one with you guys. So, Jimbo, what do you got?
All right, busting up.
Jesus' love of Schlafly has been well documented.
Very well.
Ooh,
2019 Black Friday there, Lakefront. Tasting really good here. About 6 months from its release. The chocolate is really starting to come through. One of the best barrel tasting ones so far.
Andy, what do you got?
So I'm drinking a Dragon Fandango from Toppling Goliath, and then I'm about to pop open a Vanilla Bourbon County 2018.
And now that people can see video, you can probably notice that is not Andy's first beer of the night. All right, so
pretty cool that Dragon Fandango is coming out in cans now. It's readily available. That used to be something you'd only be able to get in a growler at Toppling Goliath in Iowa.
Most of these small breweries they're expanding distribution everywhere right now. I mean, really, with the taproom model kind of defunct, being closed down, you gotta can it and get into the stores because liquor stores are essential in Wisconsin, right?
They are. So, how do you guys think? Well, before we get into Alex's beer, we should probably do that first.
Yeah, okay.
So Vince, I got the same glassware that you do. I've got the OG VIP 1840 glass, and I am tonight. I'm drinking the cashmere sweater. There was another release this week. I think they're emptying out a lot of the kegs and stuff that they have and putting it in bottles so that people can pick up curbside at the brewery. So I was down there today. I know Vince, you were down there too.
I was, yeah. Long line. Very long line.
Yeah. I was luckily towards the beginning of that line, so I picked up a case of the cashmere. It's tasting. I mean, if I got to be quarantined and holed up in my home when I'm not still going to work because I'm an essential employee, it's nice to be here with some cashmere sweater. And last weekend I picked up some Tony at the Nine Eagle. So it's nice to be squirreled with some of my favorites.
We're not the ones that brought Jim's kid to this. So.
Yeah, but they can't hear what's going on though. So.
Okay.
So how does everyone think that with some of these breweries doing curb service, are those that have a strong customer demand going to survive, and who's not going to survive out of this? Because obviously we're going to have some definite fallout, right? We're already seeing it.
Man, I see. I don't even know. That's a tough question because everybody does things a little different. Some people have restaurants. Some people already have distribution. That's tough. But I think like 1840 Eagle Park, their local fan base, or just we're more fanatical about it. I think.
Eagle Park won the. I think they were number 2 in the nation as far as new brewery just last year in that readers poll in USA Today. And today the results came out. 1840 also won second this year for best new brewery in the United States. So that list is put together. They've got a lot of experts that kind of come in and find the good breweries, the new stuff, and then they put it up to the readers, put it up to everybody online, and everybody voted. And Eagle Park was number 2 in the nation. So hey, cheers to
cheers, guys.
to Kyle. Cheers to all the folks at
1840.
Eagle Park.
Yeah,
1840.
Eagle Park, but it's 1840.
That's right. Well, cheers to Eagle Park last year, and cheers to 1840 this year for number 2 in the nation.
Yeah,
So,
our 2 favorites. But going back to Jim's question, I guess. I mean, we've obviously seen the explosion in the last 2-3 years of all these new breweries. I guess, what do you think? Is the model just going to change for them, or are they just going to? They have to do something different, right?
It's gonna have to change, really. I mean,
Well, how financially strong were some of the breweries going into this crisis, right?
Well, that's a great question, Vince, and that's really what we don't see, but it's really going to determine the answer. Like Eagle Park has spent a lot of money on a brewery that cannot open, and that's a lot of debt to service. While Kyle probably has very little. There's rumors going around that Modern Times might be in a lot of trouble because they spent a lot of money opening 7-8 tap rooms across the West Coast that are all financed, and now they can't serve out of it. So they could be in big trouble. But I think it really speaks to that debt level that a brewery may or may not have is going to determine if they survive or not.
Well, a good majority of their cash flow is based off of the taproom model. Really, that's where they're getting most of their income. That's why it drops off so hard when something like this, which is unprecedented and never happened before. So now they're gonna have to get creative, which they have. The ones that serve food are all curbside pickup, call your order in, call your beer order in. We're just going to drop it off your car or, right outside the front door. That's how they're going. And they're just going to distribute as much as they possibly can right now.
I was just going to say, it sounds like the distributor is going to become more and more important in this model now. And getting it out to stores that are open.
One thing is the distribution is they make way less on the beer they're selling than if they were selling it out of their tap room. Way less.
Well, and that's why we got up to almost 9,000 breweries is because of the tap room model. You make 4 times margin out of tap room sales than you do distribution.
Direct to the customer is always the best way to go.
Amazing.
I'm just looking here. Not only is Green Flash pretty much done again for the second time, but Deschutes had to lay off more than 100 employees, and they're you would
huge.
think a pretty well, right?
Yeah,
pretty well funded company.
Yeah, I wonder. I guess going to the actual big ones like a Miller or a Budweiser, since they're so distributed, they have no tap. I mean, they're gonna just be fine. I mean, it's just like saying, Amazon's not gonna go broke.
Yeah.
These guys aren't gonna go broke, and I just have concerns that they're just gonna, whatever little bit these craft breweries got in, they're just gonna get less of that percentage sales.
Well,
that's what I'm worried about.
Location with a liquor license, it's you can afford slim margins, right?
Right. Yeah, when you're the guy brewing, you're doing everything, and yeah.
So like 1840, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, at least here in Milwaukee, what I think we could help though is what we've seen in Illinois is Illinois breweries are able to order online. So what Gathering Place has done, you have the ability to purchase a 30-second tour at Gathering Place, and with that tour, you get a free 4-pack. Now that 4-pack or that tour, that 30-second tour does cost you about $12, but you do get a free 4-pack with that tour, and you're free to order as many tours as you would like. So
that's getting creative. And then in Illinois, they can deliver too, right?
They can do delivery. They can do online sales. Same with Missouri. Recently, in the Twitterverse, there's been a gentleman up here in Wisconsin who has bought a number of beers, cases of beer, both Second Shift and at Revolution, and asked them to distribute those beers to worthy customers that are coming in. So you can see that if you have the ability to sell online, someone who has no intention to buy your beer can basically tip those beers out. I think that's something Wisconsin here needs to really look at.
Yeah, that's what's really the eye opener, is like looking at different ways. I guess, yeah, the delivery would be awesome. The online stuff would be great, because we just need other ways to be able to buy this beer, you know?
I think one of the things will be too that anything brewed, like if anybody contract brewed through Octopi, any of the beer can get shipped to the state, you know, and put out in liquor stores, because technically they're already selling their beer here because brewed here, checked it out.
Jim, what does that sound?
Like
You don't want to know what's going on in my blurred background.
put the gerbil away.
All of a sudden, I saw your big smile. That is a gerbil, isn't
it? COVID-19 is going to make for some interesting podcasts.
Back on the rails, right?
Yeah.
But no, if they brew through Octopi, it can come into the state, and the longer this thing goes on, we could have some pretty cool beer here from out of state, just because they can't distribute it where they're located at. But they can ship it back here.
No, you bring up Octopi. Speaking of someone who just spent a lot of money on an expansion, you know, Isaac spent what, 10 million on that expansion. So I don't know how much of that was cash, how much was financed, but that was a huge expansion that hopefully he's able to fill with contract brews. You got to imagine, though, some business has been cut, though.
He's the biggest contract brewer in the Midwest, though.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of breweries aren't brewing anything at all, much less, you know, brewing at scale.
I would actually think it's probably tougher for him if he has all that contract beer. I mean, like Eagle Parks just keeps brewing, you know, it's their stuff. If he doesn't have other people brewing at his place, I mean, that's tough. I mean,
what about the CBD water? They've been pushing out that stuff all over the place now. Octopi has been.
Is it their own?
Yeah, it's their own recipes. They've got like 4 or 5 different kinds.
See, I put that under like being creative, you know? They're going to have to do something else like that, yeah. For sure. It's almost like Sprecher having the root beer, you know? You just got to do different stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sprecher could lose all its beer sales and not notice a dip in the actual revenue.
Right, but it's just diversifying. It got to a point where maybe it's too much on the other side, but whatever. That's for another podcast.
It's interesting. It seems like what's happening is completely turning the craft beer model that we've talked about a number of times on the podcast, right? Where we said if the choices are I can get a beer from, let's say, Green Flash, right, coming out of San Diego, and it's going to be sitting on the shelf at the local grocery store, pretty much wide distribution. But I don't know how long that beer sat at the brewery. I don't know how long that beer sat in a distribution center, how long it sat on a truck, how long it sat in another distribution center, and then how long it sat on the shelf at that grocery store. Whereas I can go to my local brewery and pick up the freshest beer and be able to taste it in the tap room before I buy it. Well, that distribution model is completely changed now. Now that it's all about where can I access this beer? Suddenly, distributors are the new king, and you know what you can find at the grocery store is possibly going to be your best bet for the weekend.
Well, yeah, it's
Okay.
maybe this is why we don't do this. We don't do video. No, but see,
Yeah, probably.
Alex, that's my concern. It's like you're gonna get into like the bigger are gonna get bigger, or the big
Yeah.
ones are gonna get bigger, and then the little bit of the pie that these craft beers have been getting, they just won't be able to compete, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if your lease is due and you don't have the money, and Budweiser or Miller or one of the big guys comes to you and says, "Listen, we can help you out for a little bit, but now you're going to be brewing for us." Some people just want to stay open, and that's going to look pretty enticing. So I worry in all businesses with this whole COVID-19 thing going on. I worry about all little businesses getting bought out by the big guys who have, like Jim said, have the capital, have the ability to, to survive this. Whether they're making money or not, they're going to survive. The fact that they could go in and kind of clean up the market as they've already been trying to do before COVID-19, it's a little scary for the craft brewers, for the independents, for the small guys.
It definitely opens up an opportunity for them that they were looking for, you know? It makes it easier for them to do what they needed to do or what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we just gotta hang on, man. We gotta hang on with these guys, you know?
So that's why we're going to continue doing what we're doing during this whole pandemic, this whole crisis. We're going to continue putting the good news out there and trying to promote the good breweries that we still like. Andy, you just saw some microphone up in Wisconsin, right? They're getting some distribution now.
Yeah, it's like I was saying before. If they contract with your Octopi, they have free will to distribute in the state, and so the owner of Microphone Mike, from being from the Milwaukee area, he drove up here and dropped off cases of 3 or 4 different beers at 2 different liquor stores, Haman's and the Bottle Shop in Grafton, and made an announcement that they're going to be doing that a lot more now.
I think although some are going to have a tough time, I always think of the guys that really position themselves well, like a microphone. This could be a real opportunity to finally have the tap room up here, you know? They could probably make that happen if they really have been taking care of their stuff, which I think they have. I can't imagine them spending that much money in their space, you know?
Well, they did just do a huge expansion, right? I mean, they bought that other side.
It's an industrial building in an industrial park, you know? How
Yeah. They're hurting too. They've had to lay off some staff, especially because they do food and stuff like that now, or they have food trucks coming in. That's all kind of stopped. A lot of their regular tap room staff has kind of been let go, and that seems to be a trend, a theme with all of these breweries is they have to kind of let some of the ancillary staff go, and hopefully they get hired back as soon as all of this is over, so as soon as we get over the hump. But for right now, a lot of people on unemployment. It's tough times.
So how long do you think? Let's say we end this next week. Do you think people are just going to show up right away to the tap rooms, or are people still going to be nervous?
People
there's going to be a big lag, you know.
Well, the fact of the matter is, this thing is going to go on for another year. I mean, COVID-19, coronavirus, is not going anywhere. I mean, it's going to kill less people, but enough to, I guess it's like, how do you want to roll the dice? You feel lucky, go out.
You're feeling lucky.
Andy's tweaking.
This is, I'm happy we're doing this, but man, Andy, you really got to get your shit together here.
No, I don't.
No, I don't.
Andy's a comedic relief in all of this.
Oh, he's doing good. He's doing good. All right, guys, as we're ending this, we should probably end on some good news. Let's talk about the cellar. We've been talking about cellar since we started. Have you guys found anything in your cellar through these last 2 weeks?
So I did. Actually, just a week ago, I found the original Density from Good City. Do you remember that, Jesus? I think you were actually there and picked that up for me.
Yeah, that's the first. Yeah, that's like 3-4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did side by side with the original and the second year, and I gotta say the original was amazing. It's still holding on. That was, probably 3-4 years ago that the Good City started.
Yeah, but honestly, when I had that the first time, it was amazing. When I had the new one the first time, I just didn't think it was that great.
The second one was not as good as the first.
Yeah, so there was always something about that first recipe. I don't know what they did, but yeah, good. Jim, have you found anything?
Just found some Firestone Walker. The Subka. Is that right, Andy? I'm probably butchering that name. The Subaka. Subkaba. Barley wine. That was delicious. I did find also, I haven't drank it yet, Bell's Batch 9000 and Bell's 10,000. So those are 11 and 10 years old. As soon as this bitch gets over, we're going to get together and drink those.
All right. Andy?
I drank 2016 Darkness the other day. Drinking pretty good. And I just pulled up 2017 VSOD from Revolution, too.
Look at you. Look at
Nice.
So
Well,
Vince,
for me,
other than the 1840 VIP, what are you pulling out of your cellar?
I got myself a bottle of Black Gold, Central Waters. I don't know what year, but I drank the shit out of it, and then that stuff is Black Gold. It's wonderful. But I have other bottles, like you said. When this shit's done, there's going to be dancing in the streets and beers flowing, and so I got some stuff saved up for that too.
I'm gonna cough in your face as soon as I see you, man.
I've got a vertical about Black Friday too. I just need the 2019. I got the 15. What's that? Yeah, I got 4. I just don't have the last one.
Well, I've got 2 more 2019 left still. So.
It was almost English. Jesus, what have you got in your cellar?
For me, I was actually kind of surprised. I was kind of surprised I still had a wolf in the back of the fridge.
Oh,
yeah, so that was
like OG Wolf or?
Yeah, OG Wolf. Yeah, one bottle. So it was amazing. And I was like, fuck, I wish I had more. But what are you gonna do?
But you got a lot of pumpkin beers.
Yeah, that's the bad thing too. I'm also trying to get rid of stuff that I should get rid of, and pumpkin beers was a big hit for me 3 days ago. So wish you were here, Andy.
Fuck you.
Yeah, so I think that's going to do it for us on the podcast. So for me, for Alex.
This is Jim.
Deuce.
Andy here.
And Vince. Here we go.
All right. See you guys.